Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Today we're continuing to go on with the June 2023 course of fire for NRL22. This is the fourth stage in the booklet. It is called Campfire Stories, because I guess we're kind of around a campfire. It is a 12-round stage, so if you have 10-round magazines, remember you have to incorporate a mag change. The stage description is as follows. On the start signal, you will build a position on one quadrant of the tire and engage the targets near to far with one shot each. Then move to another quadrant of the tire and repeat the engagement. Repeat this engagement 2 more times. You may only use each quadrant of the tire once. All targets are hit or miss. Move on. We have 3 targets up at the target sizes down here. We have 2-inch at 76 yards, 2.5 at 87 yards, and 3-inch at 98 yards. And basically it's going to be 3 shots from each position. And there's a little diagram, which I'll put up here, which shows like an X on the what the quadrants are. So it's really front, back, left, and right. What I don't quite understand is the front quadrant. It says that the rifle has to be supported by the front quadrant of the rifle. But if I have something like this, which I usually do, if I have to shoot off tires with sliding my bipod up and then using a rear bag for 2 points of contact, which quadrant is the rifle being supported by? Is it the front or the back? Because it's touching both. So are you supposed to just like have this out in midair and not touch anything else? Doable, not stable. It's only being supported now by the front. That's pretty wild. And the question, because you can't reuse a quadrant, could I say that this setup here is using the front quadrant as support, and then go to this position again and say now it's supported by the rear? So I don't really understand like what a good way would be to not touch the front and back at the same time. That's going to be a little tough. So I'll have to ask for clarification from the match director during like the safety briefing and that kind of stuff, just to make sure everyone's doing it the same way. But it's a little confusing to me, that front and back quadrant. I mean, if you got a bigger bag, are you supposed to just kind of be floating out in space like this? But then even if I touch any other part of the rifle is being supported by the front quadrant, so maybe that's what they mean. Rifle supported by the front quadrant, but then I'm using my hands on other parts of the, I don't know. So right now it's kind of supported, but then am I supposed to come over top and not touch anything else? That's gonna be challenging. So I'm gonna ask for clarification. I assume it means something like this, but I don't know. Hopefully you can use your hand or something to stabilize, or even brace this across here as rear support. Otherwise it's gonna be very difficult. The other 3 positions are relatively straightforward. Pick a bag of choice, stick it on the end, pop your gun up, come into it, kneeling position. It's 2 tires high, so kneeling should be appropriate here. And the same thing for the other side, just mirrored, right? So over here, boom, rifle down, engage 3 targets, right? Here, probably gonna use holdovers. It's near to far each time, so I don't want to be dialing back down each time. Oh yeah, and then the rear here this is probably what most people are used to right here on the rear. Right, so I'm gonna use holdovers. And if you're gonna do a mag change, again, if you're someone that struggles with time management on the clock, I would do it before the last sort of string of fire. So what that means is I would do 9 shots, and wherever I end up, before I start the string, I would switch. So that if the back position is the last one here, rifle goes down, or do the mag change, right? Put the rifle down, and now I engage 3. Instead of hitting the 10th shot and then having to do a mag change. Try and think ahead, because I think stringing like 3, 3, 3, 3 together, those strings of 3 kind of makes sense, and then you can trace your shots and you can line up the targets if they're in line, and keeps it all the same as the other ones. So I wouldn't change mid-string. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this stage. Really, flat bag, large bag. Tires can be wobbly. It's going to be about getting good positions. You can also, instead of doing the 2 knees down, you can do 1 knee down. Again, getting nice and stable in here, using your knee against your tricep. like so. It's going to depend on the height of the tires and all that kind of stuff. But really the question is, you can easily support it by just the rear quadrant, right? One bag rifle there. But just the front without like touching anything else seems a little bit odd. Unless you like, do you go in here and sit in the tires and then just shoot off the front? I don't know. So that's gonna be something I have to discuss with the match director before the match. And if you have the similar concerns, then make sure you bring it up before the match starts so that everyone does it the same way. And that way it's fair for all competitors. So whatever you decide, if you can't touch anything else, that's what everyone has to do. If you can use some sort of other support on another quadrant, then everyone should have the same advantages or disadvantages. So it's all a level playing field. That's all I have for this one. If these videos help, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Enable notifications because one of these videos will be coming out each day for each stage leading up to the match on Sunday. And until I see you next time, as always, score more points.